investigation into a Chinese company making Ivanka Trump shoes, leading to one arrest and 2 people missing. New York-based advocacy group China Labor Watch telling Reuters on Wednesday that one of their activists has been detained on suspicion of illegally using eavesdropping equipment. I'm Anita Lee in Shanghai. According to China Labor Watch, the activists found evidence that a supplier factory for Ivanka Trump and other Western brands had violated workers' rights, including forced overtime, low wages, and verbal abuse. The group says it's been carrying out these sorts of investigations in China for almost 2 decades, but this is the first time that any of its people have been detained under a criminal process. They say the accusation has no factual basis. Intimidation, harassment, and restricted movement are nothing new for labor rights activists in China. The arrest and disappearances come at a time of continuing pressure as President Xi Jinping cracks down on civil society. China Labor Watch also tells Reuters that they are appealing to President Trump, his daughter Ivanka, and her related company to push for their activists' release. But so far, the Ivanka Trump brand has declined to comment. When contacting one of the shoe factory owners to ask about the situation, the switchboard declined to transfer us to company officials. The arrested activists have been investigating a vocational school linked with the owner of one of the factories when he was put in handcuffs. No one has seen or heard from the other 2 investigators for days. China's foreign ministry saying on Wednesday it knows nothing about the case.
And the love and the support has been so tremendous. So we feel very, very good.
Yeah, it's been really a family effort. I know you've been, Don's working the least. I noticed that he's only doing like 5 or 6 stops a day.
I've only done 700,000 or 800,000 miles in the last few days, Sean.
Yeah,
And he doesn't ever let us forget it.
Yeah. No,
Oh, is that right?
Like, you know I'm not with my 5 kids right now, right?
You know, the funny thing is I say, hey, I'd be texting Don. I'm like, what are you doing? He's like, oh, I'm here, but I'm flying here, 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 and here. I'll have a minute in 2 days from now. How you feeling, Don?
Yeah. Listen, I feel great. I mean, the warmth and the outpouring that we're getting from people, these disaffected Americans that haven't had a voice in generations. I mean, they see that look of hope in my father, and watching them react to his message and even our message, candidly, when we're speaking in these places. It's really special. It's changed us a lot, I think, throughout the process. It's been a real growing process. It's easy to get glib. It's easy to take things for granted, and I think we were raised not to do that. But even still, when you see real Americans coming up to you this way, it's awesome.
Tiffany, I know you've been out a lot and you've been working hard for your dad. How do you feel about the process so far?
It's just been amazing, honestly. It's so inspiring to see so many people, get behind this movement, and, everyone's working hard, and now it's up to everyone getting out there and voting.
Yeah. All right, when I look at the polls and I look at the Electoral College, Don, I'll throw this to you, it is neck and neck. Is it nerve-wracking? Where do you feel your dad breaks through? Look, I think your dad's he's obviously up in Iowa. I like his numbers in North Carolina. I like his numbers so far early in Florida. Florida's going to be a 2-point race, though, either way at the end of the day. And Ohio looks pretty good for your dad. And now you got to get to those final states. Which states are you feeling the best about, considering you've been to all of them and then some?
I think we're making a serious play in New Mexico. I think we're making a serious play and pushing in Colorado. I was in Michigan earlier today. Now I'm New Hampshire, and we're going back to Michigan later on tonight. But I was in Michigan today. And man, the feeling is really good there, too. I mean, so I think we can put some states into play that aren't supposed to be in play. So I think that can change the map. I think that could really change the dynamic of what we feel tomorrow night. I think it go a lot later than perhaps a lot of people are thinking. And so there's a lot of interesting stuff going on. But there's states in play that aren't supposed to be in play. And it's because we're reaching out the real Americans who haven't had that voice.
Ivanka, Sean, I would just say to all of your viewers, turnout is so important. So we hope everyone gets out and votes. Like you said, it will be close. But the response to my father's message has been so overwhelmingly positive. So we encourage everyone to get out tomorrow and really vote, because every vote matters.
I'll ask specifically, how do you think in any way, and I've seen a change in your dad from my perspective, but I've known your dad a long time. Have you seen a change in your father? Any of you that want to weigh in?
Oh, 100%.
What is the change, Ivanka?
You can't go through this process. It's fundamentally changed me. You meet so many people and you hear their stories, and they're incredible stories. They're heartwarming stories, and then you hear devastating stories. And it's the fuel that motivates you, and I see it every day. Look, yesterday my father was in 6 states. It's almost, he's like a machine, but he's buoyed and fueled by the energy of the people and by their belief in him as an agent of change. And look, 70% of this country believes that we're headed in the wrong direction, and he knows what to do to get the country back on track. And the excitement and the belief in the potential of Trump leadership is amazing to him, and he's so encouraged by it, and it means so much to him, and he'll never let Americans down.
Tiffany, you see a change in your dad?
I think every day he continues to get more inspired by the American people and more touched, and it really is fueling him to, go out there and really want this and really want to make a difference for all of us.
Yeah, and by the way, he is working. I think he does like 8 states to Hillary's 2. He's certainly like the Energizer.
You can't even, Sean, you can't even compare the two. And that's the way he's going to fight for the American people. Hillary's fought for special interests. She's fought for every elite class you can get. And this is what this election is. This is a rare and unique chance to bring an outsider into Washington, D.C. Someone who's willing, able, and ready to take on the D.C. cartel and break it up. Because candidly, as conservative as I am, and you know me well enough, both sides have failed us. This is really about insider versus outsider, and we need an outsider to break up this system.
Well, he talks about draining the swamp.
He's beholden to nobody other than the American people.
It is interesting.
Fight very, very hard for all of us.
Hillary does need Jay-Z dropping the N-word and F-bombs and Beyonce and the Obamas and Bruce Springsteen to get a crowd. And it is interesting that your dad is filling up arenas all around the country. All right, we have a couple more minutes with Ivanka, Tiffany, Donald Trump Jr. right after the break as we continue. As we continue on Hannity, we continue with the children of GOP presidential candidate Donald Trump Jr., Ivanka and Tiffany. All right, Don, let me ask you this question, because I know you and I talk a lot about politics, and I've known you now for a while. You watch what James Comey has done here. We don't even know if an investigation is ongoing into the Clinton Foundation and the pay-to-play scandal. We've learned through WikiLeaks, CNN is asking the DNC questions for your father. We know that they really screwed over Bernie Sanders. We know that CNBC, MSNBC, the New York Times, almost the entire media establishment has been against your father, and now we can prove it. Is that hard to discover all of the corruption at this level?
Well, listen, it's been going on. It's been following our opponent for decades. This isn't anything new. The stuff that's more recent is more troubling because it's actually in our face. And perhaps to me, as an American, what's more troubling is that so few people on her side actually care. I ask you, whether it be the WikiLeaks stuff, whether it's certainly the email scandal, if you, Sean, me, any of our kids, any of our grandkids, any of your viewers' kids and grandkids did the same thing that Hillary Clinton did, they'd all be in jail. Okay?
Yeah.
No one on either side of the aisle would even contest that, in my opinion. She's incredibly reckless, this, that, and the other, but nothing's going to happen. And that's what the American people are rebelling against. They're rebelling against that double standard, that standard that is held for the elite and the standard that's held for everyone else. That's so much of what this election is about. So it's not so much about the results. It's about the way those things are handled and managed. That's what's scary to me as an American.
Yeah, it scares me, too. I've been in radio my 30th year. 21 years now on Fox. And I got to tell you, as much as I believe government was corrupt, I never knew it was this bad. Drain the swamp is probably the most appropriate way to deal with that. All right, last question for all of you. I know you guys got to run. Ivanka, how hard is it to read a newspaper, to watch a news program, and people hammering your dad every day, but they don't really hammer Hillary, and there's so much that even the WikiLeaks scandal that the media just ignored? How hard is it to hear that about your own father?
It's very hard. We're not a family of politicians. So, I will say on a personal level, I was probably a little bit naive when my father declared his candidacy as to what it meant to go through this experience. And it is incredibly hard. There's so much editorializing. There's a lot of fiction that's put out into the universe about my father and our family. So it is hard. But I will say, for all of that and for all of that negativity, it's so counterbalanced by the love and the enthusiasm and the hope and the belief of the tens of millions of Americans who support my father. And that's also been an amazing thing for me to live through and experience. So I'll go to a rally such as this one tonight in Manchester, and there's so much heart in the room. So that is the other side of the pendulum, and ultimately that's much more meaningful to me.
All right, we're going to have notice. Last word, Tiffany.
It's, it was hard, but we know who our father is, and I think no tabloid can write anything that will make us doubt that. So we know the truth, and luckily it
helps to know the man.
That's true.
Yeah, and I wish that's the one thing I wish that everyone could experience is the man that's the father, the man that's the grandfather, really the man that's been the employer to tens of thousands of people. Those people know him so well, and I wish the American people.
Really a beautiful baby, and she's got Marla's legs. We don't know whether or not she's got this part yet, but time will tell.
She does have a very nice figure. I've said that if Ivanka weren't my daughter, perhaps I'd be dating her.
Stop it! Oh, it's so weird. What's the favorite thing you have in common with your father?
Either real estate or golf.
Donald, with your daughter?
Well, I was going to say sex, but I can't relate that
to By the way, your daughter.
She's beautiful.
Can I say this? A piece of ass.
Yeah.
She looks more voluptuous than ever.
She's actually always been very voluptuous. She's tall. She's almost 6 feet tall.
Yeah, she's really something, and what a beauty, that one. If I weren't happily married, and, her father.
My daughter, Ivanka.
Yeah.
She's 6 feet tall. She's got the best body.
Yeah, she's hot. Did your daughter get breast implants?
No.
She looks more voluptuous than ever.
No, she didn't get them.
And she got thinner.
She's actually always been very voluptuous.
My daughter is beautiful, Ivanka.
By the way, your daughter.
She's beautiful.
Can I say this? A piece of ass.
Yeah.
Patty, I mean, what?
What?
I mean,
there
this
are no
is
words.